The G7 summit in Kananaskis, Alberta, was meant to showcase unity among the world's leading democracies. Instead, tension dominated from the start. President Trump arrived with a list of demands, focused on trade and grievances. The usual script of consensus was quickly abandoned. Trump made it clear, he was there to renegotiate, not reaffirm alliances. His blunt talk on tariffs and trade imbalances left little room for diplomacy. Other leaders, including host Prime Minister Mark Carney, tried to shift the focus to global security and climate change, but Trump's agenda overshadowed everything. Abruptly, Trump announced an early departure, citing a crisis in the Middle East. He left before key meetings, stunning his counterparts and shattering the summit's facade of unity. The world watched as the US walked away, leaving the G7 fractured. Carney was left to salvage what he could, insisting the summit continue. But the damage was done. The old alliances looked fragile, and America signaled it was willing to go it alone. The summit would be remembered not for agreements, but for its public rupture. The image of unity was gone, replaced by discord on the world stage. The remaining leaders faced a new reality, one where US unpredictability was the norm. The G7's future was suddenly uncertain. President Trump's grievances with Canada took center stage. He accused Canada of unfair trade practices and threatened steep tariffs. The US hiked tariffs on Canadian goods from 25% to 35%, escalating tensions. The White House leveled dramatic accusations, including claims of Canadian fentanyl trafficking, a charge quickly refuted by Canadian officials. The facts didn't matter as much as the headlines. Trump revived extreme ideas, even referencing the notion of annexing Canada, underscoring his desire to reshape North America. This was classic Trump hardball tactics, public pressure and headline-grabbing claims. The goal was clear: force Canada to concede. Stephen Moran, Trump's economic advisor, accused Canada of cozying up to China and retaliating against US tariffs. The message from Washington: Canada must yield or face more pain. The era of friendly trade was over. The world's longest peaceful border now felt like a front line. Canada faced a direct economic assault. The trade war had begun, and the stakes were higher than ever. The US was no longer playing by old rules. The North American partnership was under siege. Prime Minister Mark Carney responded to US pressure with resolve. He issued a direct rebuttal to Trump's accusations, especially the fentanyl claim, citing facts and rejecting scapegoating. Carney promised to defend Canadian interests and industries against punitive tariffs. He drew a clear line. Canada would not be bullied or blamed for America's problems. This was a defining moment. Carney chose strength over appeasement. The risk was real. A trade war with the US could hurt Canada's economy, but backing down would set a dangerous precedent. Trade Minister Dominic LeBlanc echoed Carney's stance, confirming talks would continue, but from a position of strength. The message was clear. Canada valued its relationship with the US, but not at the cost of its sovereignty. Carney's response was about more than trade. It was about national identity. For decades, Canada had taken a pragmatic approach with its powerful neighbor. Now, Trump's tactics demanded boldness. Carney rejected blame, defended Canada's honor, and prepared for a fight. He signaled to the world, Canada is a partner, not a subordinate. The quiet Canadian had found his voice. The country rallied behind a new sense of purpose. The world took notice. Carney knew words weren't enough. Canada needed action. With US relations strained, Canada pivoted to strengthen ties with Mexico. The goal: build a united front to counter Washington's pressure. Carney hosted Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum at the G7, sending a message of solidarity. After the summit, Canada sent top officials to Mexico City to deepen cooperation, especially in energy and investment. Canada's largest pension funds were encouraged to invest in Mexico's energy sector, creating economic interdependence. This strategy aimed to give both countries more leverage in future negotiations with the US. At the same time, Canada asserted its independence globally. While Trump hesitated on Ukraine, Carney pledged $4.3 billion in support, including $2 billion in military aid. Standing with President Zelensky, Carney declared Canada's unwavering commitment. The contrast with Washington was stark. Canada positioned itself as a steadfast defender of international order. The world saw a country willing to lead, even as its closest ally turned inward. Canada's diplomatic dance was bold and strategic. The stakes for North America had never been higher. Beyond tariffs and rhetoric, a bigger threat loomed: the future of North American trade. The The USMCA, or CUSMA in Canada, faces a critical review in 2026, possibly sooner. This deadline gives Trump enormous leverage. He's made clear his dislike for the deal despite having negotiated it. Trump can withdraw the US with 6 months' notice, the nuclear option. Ontario Premier Doug Ford warned of chaos if the deal collapses. A US withdrawal would trigger an economic crisis for Canada and Mexico. Every move by Carney's government is shaped by this looming review. The tough stance on tariffs is a gamble for better terms later. Outreach to Mexico is an attempt to build a coalition to save the deal. Canadian negotiators are racing the clock, trying to resolve disputes and prepare for the bigger battle ahead. The uncertainty is already hurting business confidence. Companies need stability, but the threat of withdrawal creates fear. Canada is pushing for talks, hoping to de-escalate before the review. But with Trump's unpredictability, nothing is certain. The future of North American trade hangs in the balance. Mark Carney's leadership at the G7 and beyond drew global attention. His steady hand and resolve stood out amid chaos. By keeping the summit on track after Trump's exit, Carney earned respect from world leaders. His strong support for Ukraine, announced alongside President Zelensky, was praised in Europe. Canada emerged as a principled middle power, willing to lead when others hesitated. Carney's approach contrasted sharply with Trump's disruption and transactionalism. While Trump questioned alliances, Carney worked to strengthen them. This elevated Carney's profile and gave Canada new soft power. By building alliances with Mexico and Europe, Carney created a network to counterbalance U.S. pressure. The world is watching. Can a principled middle power stand up to a superpower? The answer will shape more than just Canada's future. Carney's strategy is a test for the liberal international order. The stakes are global. The G7 summit set the stage for a period of uncertainty in North America. Negotiations are expected, with Canada aiming to remove tariffs without weakening its position for the USMCA review. The US will keep up pressure, using tariffs as leverage. The outcome will test Carney's strategy of firm resolve. The real showdown is the USMCA review, the main event. Canada's partnership with Mexico will be crucial as the deadline approaches. A united front could block U.S. attempts to dictate terms. For the U.S., Trump's maximum pressure strategy carries risks, including backlash from American businesses. Internal pressure may force moderation, but nothing is certain. North America stands at a crossroads: renewed cooperation or economic fragmentation. Carney's bold moves have drawn the battle lines. He's betting that strength and alliances can steer the continent towards stability. The coming months will reveal if his gamble pays off. The future of North America hangs in the balance.